Welcome everyone to this fourth Kuthuta Yoga Talk. And I know we took a little bit of a break over Christmas, but I'm really happy to be back. And what I want to say is feel free to ask any questions during the talk, but just put them in the chat and we're going to get to them in the last 15 or 10 minutes or so. And do stay to the end. There's an offer I'd like to give everybody who stays and until the end. So hang in there. I'm really happy to introduce you to Ashley Jetta Garcia, who I met recently in a networking organization called BNI that I'm in. So she's a native of Colorado, and I like the way Ashley says independent, independent parent as opposed to single mom. It sounds so much better there, Ashley. Independent parent to beautiful Athena. And I thought I was a serious student and someone who likes to study, but I think you take the piece in, take the pie in having a dual bachelor's degree in mathematics and business. I think you and my brother would get along. I don't quite understand people who study mathematics in that way, and you have with an emphasis on international business. And this is really interesting. And you have a master's of science in criminology. And if that wasn't enough, I know you're in the process of obtaining a PhD in forensic psychology from Walden University. So you seem to have your hands pretty full with your PhD, but and Athena, but you also have founded through 3 businesses. I have 2, and I think that's quite a handful, but you have 3. So you have AJG. That JG is a bit of a tongue twister. AJG LLC, which is insurance broking, and I know you deal in real estate. And then you have AJG Private Investigation. We may need to talk, so I'll just keep you on speed dial in case I need to do any investigation over there. And you're also having AJG REI LLC, and another one which is, I think, where you're talking about your oils. And that's what we want to talk to you about. I know I run several businesses, but it's good to just get an overview of who Ashley is in her private life and in her professional life and in her study life. And I know that you have a particular journey, and that's what we all have, a particular journey, but I found your journey very interesting when you were telling me about how you got into essential oils. So I'm really excited about what you are going to go through with us today, just sharing with us what exactly essential oils are, where are they coming from, and what are the various ways that we can use them. And also, because I'm really into the chakras, you're going to talk about the oils which are good for the particular chakras. So join me as I welcome Ashley.
Good morning, everyone. Like Towani said, my name is Ashley Jetta Garcia, and I'm the CEO and founder of 3 businesses. And so today we're talking more about AJG LLC, which is partnered with doTERRA, which is an essential oils company. And so today's meeting is Smell Your Way to Health. And so let's get started. So first and foremost, just a quick disclosure, AJG LLC and myself, we are licensed in life and health insurance in Colorado, Illinois, and Tennessee. Today is only for education purposes on essential oils. And so just make sure that you know that, and make sure that if you use them, any essential oils or medications or anything like that, supplements, things of that nature, always make sure you consult your medical professionals. Okay. So a little bit about me. Like Towani said, I have 3 degrees from Regis University. I'm finishing up my PhD in forensic psychology from Walden University. So right now I'm just finishing up my dissertation. It's a big, long paper you have to do, and then I'm done. and I am a doctorate at that point, which is pretty awesome. I'm excited. So let's back up just a little bit, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about 2016. So 2016, I was enrolling to start my PhD in the end of May. And ironically, that same month, I found out I was pregnant. Well, it was a big month. It was exciting, amazing. But I knew the reality was that I have a lot of sensitivities to the environment, to medications and food. So I have to be very careful about what I take and what I use. And one of those, some of those products are like over-the-counter pain medications. And so what doctors have done in the past, they have just given me a pain relaxer. So just in case I like have migraines, because you normally have horrible headaches and tension headaches and things of that nature. And so what I do with is normally I would take a muscle relaxer, go to sleep for a little while, and hope that everything would be okay the next day. But being pregnant, I knew that that was not the best option anymore. And so I searched high and low, to try and figure out a way to have an alternative option. And so I found this, I was in a what are they called? A farmer's market. There we go. I was in a farmer's market just perusing and saw this lady who had a pack of essential oils, and I'll explain more later why I chose doTERRA, but they are pure. And so I was like, that's a good idea. Let's try this out. And it worked. And it did amazing throughout my whole entire pregnancy. And that pack alone, just because I wasn't a normal user of it, it got me through all the way until a few months ago. And so, yeah, one of my friends, I found out she was a wellness advocate for doTERRA, and she reintroduced me to the oils, and we're just doing things naturally now, and it's beautiful and amazing. And I've been able to replace a lot of my medications that I'm taking with essential oils. Like for example, one of this, which is ironic, okay? I'm allergic to flowers, okay? And every morning or at night, I take a glass of water, 8 ounces glass of water, and I put peppermint, lemon, and lavender in it. And it helps with clearing my sinuses and making it so that I can breathe throughout the night. It's really amazing how the essential oils work for us. And so that's why I love essential oils, and that's just my story.
Thanks, Ashley. And the other thing that I found that was very interesting when you shared my story for you is how shocked you were when you found out you were pregnant, because you had a condition called endometriosis,
Endometriosis, yes.
which means that it's really, really difficult to get pregnant. So I think it was, a shock, but also such a joy that you could be pregnant. And I can imagine you like, okay, I'm going through this PhD, but I, I want to keep this baby. This is a miracle baby, but how am I going to manage, and how am I going to go through it? Now, I think I know what essential oils are, but a lot of the time, even when I think I know what things are, when I get into the depth of it, I find that they may not be all that I think that they are. So do go ahead and give us a more comprehensive understanding of what essential oils essentially are.
Beautiful. All right. So, essential oils are produced by plants, and they are their natural defense to viruses and fungus and bacteria within our environment. So it's just an oil that any plants or flowers they produce, and the essential oils come from the seeds, the stems, roots, barks, flowers, needles, fruits, and leaves. And how we today do extract the essential oils is we do it through the microscopic glands. We actually take the oils out and then produce them into things that we can use. And realistically, what they could be used for is to replace synthetic products, because they've been around for so long. We'll get more into the history in a little bit, but we are able to replace the synthetic products and use Mother Nature for us. And so we're realistically being able to live a more holistic and natural life, and just receive the gift of the earth. so that we can live healthy just like our ancestors did before us.
Right. I want to share something that I learned, Ashley, in the last talk that I did. And some of you may remember the talk on hormones that I did. And what I didn't know is actually how dangerous some of the synthetic fragrances are for our health. Some of the synthetic fragrances that are more common in women's products are actually disturbing our hormonal system. They're upsetting our hormonal balance. And this is the other aspect that I thought is so important about essential oils is that they appear in nature. So I guess the body knows what to do with what's found in nature, whereas a lot of the synthetic products, our body's like, what do I do? What do I do with these things? It's like, yeah. So it's, I think a lot of us, and I think a lot of people don't actually know that. Now, essential oils I know have been around for a long time, and I'm interested to hear about, what is the history of essential oils, and then, I'll share a story of my understanding of how I feel my ancestors used essential oils.
Lovely. So just so everybody knows, essential oils have been around for centuries. We're going to go back and look at a few periods of time that essential oils have been around. For example, first and foremost is ancient Egypt. It was recorded that as far back as 3000 BC, essential oils were used not only in the trade routes, but also mummification of the bodies of people when they passed away. And in addition, like in the pictures that are shown on the right, you can see there's actually hieroglyphics. So pictures that the Egyptians created in stone are showing that essential oils were used. In addition, some of the trade with their trade back in those days, a lot of cinnamon bark was used, frankincense, which is like it's sloganed as the king of oils, and it supports like the health, the cellular health, immunity, nervous system, digestive system, for your internal digestion. It's amazing. It's a wonderful product. And then we have ancient Greece. So this goes back to so Greece was formed in 2000 BC, and some of the um, influential people within the Greek empire and like Homer, they actually tested out essential oils to try and figure out ways to extract it. And so what Homer did is he used wine and fat sources to actually extract the essential oils from the plants. And then let's go forward into the Roman Empire. So in Rome, they were using essential oils for not only their culture but also their health. And what they would do is they would have these places. They're called bathhouses, and some of them still exist. So it's really cool. If you haven't gone to a bathhouse before, I recommend going. It's amazing. So they have different pools in the water in this building, and they're different temperatures, and they use essential oils and massage to just relax people. Instead of smelling like the chlorine at pools, it's a whole different atmosphere. It's amazing, beautiful. And then we get into medieval Persia, which is now modern day Iran, where they used to use and trade spices that could be used for essential oils. And they used it as perfume to like smell good, in addition with health, for their health. And so with their era, they were able to figure out how to distill the essential oils. And that's how we were able to get the scent of rose into rose water now. It's really beautiful and unique. And then, of course, there's today. So there is still countries that are using essential oils. And so we have China, who back in 500 and 1300 AD, they were leading in advanced technology and science. And what they did, they were able to do research on the plants and the plant parts to understand the usage and how we can use so many essential oils. And then of course in India, they still today have a practice where they use the elements of the earth to balance our body. And that's with the plants and aromatherapy that we use for essential oils.
And I also wanted to share, I love to see how this has really been part of a lot of the traditional medicine in the different, times and in the different civilizations. And I will say even now, I remember in March when my husband and I, came down with COVID, first my husband and then I, and the health system here was still grappling with what to do. We couldn't even see a doctor. It was actually the old wives' tales treatments of my mom that pulled it through us. And what she said is, Mom, she says, Towani, steam. And what I realized is that steaming, you throw in a lot of plants. So I think I remember throwing in, and I got some oils, I put in some lemongrass and I put in eucalyptus. But that was a traditional way of getting the essential oils out. If you put the leaves in there and then the heat, and then you put the blanket over, we call it to futukira. And it's something that, you know, I haven't seen many of the medical professionals advocating it, but I think all the traditional ways of dealing with respiratory tract infections is to use some of these herbs in that steaming process, which I know will release these oily substances, and we absorb them in amounts that are safe. They're not going to poison us, and they come out pure. So I'm really intrigued that this is something that has been going on for a really, really, really long time. So I know that that's one way of using them. Ashley, the traditional way in Africa is through putting them, in boiling water. But I mean, that way you have to have the raw ingredients like growing nearby or somewhere so that you can use them ideally fresh. But essential oils are already, have extracted the goodness. So, do explain how essential oils can be used.
Perfect. Okay, so there's 3 ways to use essential oils, and not all essential oils can be used the same ways. And so there is through the air, there's through the skin, like putting it on your skin, and then there's internally. Not all of them, again, can be used that way. So I'm going to stop share real quick because I want to show you guys just a few ways of how you can use the essential oils really quickly. I want to make sure I'm pinned. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 today, just so you guys can see. So to breathe in, there's obviously diffusers you can use, and it just steams up the essential oil into the air and you can breathe it around. But there's also some essential oils that you can breathe in as well. So I'm going to show you guys how you can use peppermint. All you do is you would put peppermint in the palm of your hand. Okay. You just put 1 drop in your palm of your hand, you rub it together like this. And then you breathe it in. So you make a circle with 1 hand, cup the other, and then you breathe in through your mouth. And that's it. It's that simple. And then, of course, something that I always do before I speak is I take lemon, and this is for topical use. So you, again, take the 1 drop in your hand. There we go. And then you just rub it on like your neck. So that's topically what you do. You don't have to do anything like super invasive or things of that nature to be able to use the essential oils. It's pretty simple and straightforward. In addition, there are some essential oils that can be used internally. I'd be very careful when doing this because you want to make sure that they are peer grade certified. Okay. And so when you do take them internally, you have a glass of water, 8 ounces. Make sure it's glass because essential oils are strong. They can actually you can get like spores of like plastic and stuff like that inside the essential oils. They'll break it down. And so use a glass cup of water, and then you just put like 1 to 2 drops in. And for specifically for the doTERRA products, you want to make sure that it says, and I'm not sure you guys can see it says essential oil supplement on the bottle to be able to use them. So again, not all oils can be used in all 3 ways. We'll go over some of them and how you can use them. And you want to always make sure that you have the purity standards to put them either in for topical or internally.
That's very interesting. I just had I'm allowed. I'm the interviewer, so I can ask my questions after
everything.
now. do some people have reactions to them? Because I'm thinking, I noticed that you put it on your hands and you put it on your throat, but do we have to be careful, like with the eyes and maybe rubbing it on our nose? And do some people not react to certain oils? How do you know that the essential oil is not going to be um, dangerous for me, or it's not going to be something that I'm going to react to?
So you want to definitely make sure they have the right purity standards. In addition, a lot of like lavender, it comes from the plant, not the flower. So the pollen is what a lot of people are allergic to, not the plant. So that's why I can actually take lavender and ingest it and not have reactions from allergies and things of that nature. So it's a different form of how it's extracted that helps with alleviating and not having the reactions. Again, always make sure that you talk to your medical professionals before trying and stuff like that with some of the conditions that happen in life.
Great. So that's very interesting. I learned something there, Ashley, that, just because something says that, for example, that it's lavender, you don't know which part of the lavender plant it necessarily is unless you read the labels. And then also it's a question of the purity. So you could react to the pollen, but not to the plant. And you may be reacting to the things that are in that particular formulation, because I know not all the oils may be 100% the essential oil. There could be some other carrier oils or some other leftovers in there. Now,
exactly.
If you've done yoga with me, you know that I love chakras. I don't know, there's just something about them. I found that the chakra lens of life helps me understand my body and my emotions. And right now we're going through a chakra series where we are talking about the emotions. This week we were talking about the emotion of anger and passion, and next week we're going to be talking about love. But a thing that many people don't know is that the chakras are dealing with energy on so many frequencies. So most of us, as this slide that Ashley has put up, is dealing with energy on a light spectrum. So we know that the root is red, and that is like a less powerful frequency. It's a longer frequency. And as we go up in the chakras, we move through the colors of the rainbow until we get to purple or white, which is a more powerful, more energetic spectrum with a shorter frequency. So that is energy in the spectrum of light. But then there's also chemical energy. And I look at the oils as being chemical energy. And each chakra has different essential oils that can affect the chakras. So I'm very happy that Ashley is going to take us through chakra by chakra in terms of which are the oils that are good for this particular chakra, or conditions that we have that are affecting this particular chakra on a physical level or maybe on an emotional level.
Perfect. Okay, so here we go. You guys ready? And ladies, sorry. Let's see. Computer. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start with the root chakra. Sorry, everybody. The computer froze. Hold on real quick. Now you guys are just seeing a preview of everything. Here, let me do this.
You're making me so jealous there, Ashley, with your oils, busy rubbing them in. I'm kind of like, where's mine? I want peppermint too. I also want to smell like lemon.
Okay, let's get started. Now you guys should be able to see the root chakra. So 4 of the essential oils that can be used with the root chakra. And again, it's quick and easy. It's nothing that's too fancy. You can just put it in your hand and put it in that area, and just sit there for a second and breathe. So we have lavender, sandalwood, cedarwood, and patchouli. Within the doTERRA family, all of those can be used through the air, through your skin, and internally, except for cedarwood, just so everybody knows. And then we'll go into the sacral chakra. That's rosemary and amber oils. Some of So rosemary can be used all three ways. And then amber oils, there's a various different ones. You can use lavender, and that can be, again, all three, like we said before. And and then there's different other types of amber oils that you can use as well. And then we have
So
this.
before you go
Oh yes,
any
Polly.
forward, before you
Yes.
go any forwards there, just take me back, Ashley, please, to the root chakra. You
Okay.
know,
Let's go
take
back.
me back to the root chakra. And I noticed that the lavender is there both in the root and the sacral. What exactly could you, as you're going through these, would you mind also just telling us what? Yes, I can use lavender in all these three ways, and I can use sandalwood. But what are some of the benefits of using lavender? What are some of the effects that I can expect in my body?
So with lavender, it just opens you up and gives you more energy throughout the different areas that you're using it. And so it's really important just to have that as internally, externally, just as an environment for your body. And that's what most of these essential oils will do. So depending on how you're using them will affect either your smell. So you want to always make sure that you can smell them, as well as if you're taking them internally or topically, that smell will open up and give you more ground in your environment, which we like to have with the chakras.
Yeah, grounding is very important in the root chakra, right? And actually, what it reminds me, there's also a sense organ that is attached to every chakra, and smell is very intimately connected to the root chakra.
That's good to know. I never knew that. We're all learning today. Yay! Okay. And so the sacral chakra, like I said, there's the rosemary and amberwood. And rosemary, you can actually use these oils in food. So it's not just like taking it in water and things of that nature. You can use it to cook. It's really amazing. And then we get to the solar plex, and there's a few different options. With the solar plex, there's obviously rose, and then lang lang, and that is the yellow flower up here. And then some other options for like your digestion is peppermint. Peppermint is really good when you have like heartburn and indigestion type symptoms. I always take it with just water, and it's amazing. It's better than peppermint tea. It works a lot faster. It's beautiful. And then one of the proprietary products of doTERRA is digestion. That's really good for your stomach as well. So you can use these products. It's really cool. So you can put it digestion on your hand, and then you can rub it in the area that it's hurting. In addition, you can put it in your belly button. So you take just one drop on your finger, put it in your belly button for a second, and just hold there and breathe. And then of course you can put them under your tongue as well. And you could do all three of those at the same time, and it clears out and helps you just thrive whenever you have a stomach situation going on. And it's a beautiful and amazing thing.
Hang on a minute, Ashley.
Of
I've got to,
course.
you keep spooking me out with things that you're saying here, because I'm all with like smelling the oils and rubbing them on, but now you're saying cooking. So I don't
Yeah.
know how, what do you mean cook with it? Can you explain that?
So even back when we were talking about Egypt, they use cinnamon bark. That's good for using like cinnamon. So you can do cinnamon in your coffee. You can do cinnamon instead of using the spice. You can just use the essential oil. So thinking
Oh,
that way,
great.
or you can use both of them together and make something very strong with cinnamon, which I would do. But not everybody in the world likes a bunch of cinnamon. And so like
I
with
do.
the peppermint, you can actually something that I like to do is chocolate with peppermint. So just mixing that together, and then it's that peppermint bark type situation.
Great. Yeah. I'm happy also in the chat. We've got some comments. And Kiki
Awesome.
is saying that she uses lavender to help her with the period pains. And we discussed lavender in the sacral chakra. And she's also rubbing the oil on the tummy. So
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
really good to have that reinforcement that people are using them. So, it's not just Ashley making up things here. People
No.
are also experiencing them.
Yes, it's amazing. Lavender is amazing. That's all I have to say. It gets used a lot in my house. And I'm allergic to the flower, which is really weird. It's beautiful. Okay. So let's get to the heart chakra. You can use rose and lavender. Again, see, lavender's in I think pretty much all of these, and then jasmine. And so these are the flowers for them, and all of them can be, except for rose, can be used in all three ways. So again, the lavender is just beautiful. And then let's go to your throat chakra. So there's two different ways of thinking about your throat. So that for soothing, again, lavender. And then there is the hyacinth, which you can use as well as for stimulation and creativity. There's patchouli or any kind of white musk essential oils. One of them is console. It's right here, and and this is a picture of what it has in it. It's a blend. And then of course, frankincense. That's what we talked about earlier, and with Egypt and how it's the king of oils. It can be used for so many different things. Now let's go into our brow. So we have violet and rose and geranium, and they can all be, so violet and rose, again, they can only be used in the air or on your skin. You don't want to ingest them. And then geranium, you can use all three ways. And then of course, last but not least is our crown, and brings back lavender again. Lavender wins again. And kapuli is one of the plants that you can use as well with doTERRA. For the so it's just the amber oils. Make sure you're using amber oils.
Thanks, Ashley, for just, taking us a whiz through which particular essential oils are good for which area. And it's quite interesting for me going back, that the rose, I mean, even when we're doing our visualizations with our heart chakra, we really think of the rose and roses being pink and pink being the color of the heart chakra. So that's an easy one for me to visualize. And also that the violet is with the brow chakra, because as we're going up in the chakra colors, we're getting more into the blues and the violet. So it's quite interesting to see.
Beautiful. I never even thought about that.
Yes. So the colors are changing. Yeah, are changing. I think I'm probably going to have to get over lavender. I must say, lavender is not my favorite. It's not my favorite, but then maybe I have to try the doTERRA lavender, because maybe it's the smell of the flower one that I've had before or smelled before. Maybe if I try one which is extracted from the plant, or I have a blend, it'll mix. But then I guess we all have a different genetic makeup, so I can imagine that not every oil is for every person, and as we try and we experiment with these oils, we will find the combination and the oils that work for us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just figuring out what works for you and how it works, because sometimes peppermint works, sometimes digestion works. It just all depends on your situation in that day and how you're feeling. So
Right. Now, you're not the only person who I've met who's raved about doTERRA. In fact, that's what, made me really listen carefully. So I have a student as well, Chi, and she's really into doTERRA, and she just raves about them. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's just Chi, and then I met you and you're like, okay, so all right, this is probably a little bit more than the individuals, although of course it has something to do with the individuals, but there must be something different about the doTERRA oils compared to the regular essential oils that you find around. So share what it is that made you pick doTERRA as the brand of choice for the essential oils that you use, as opposed to, just any random brand. I just like, okay, how much is this? I just pick
exactly. That's how I was doing.
Whatever. I'm ashamed to say, but that's my criteria.
So personally, I was always like, oh, well, this one's a little bit cheaper. Let me try it. And I'd always have symptoms. And so I was like, so I chose doTERRA because first and foremost, doTERRA means the gift of earth. So it's the earth. We're just receiving the gift from the earth. And then they're certified, pure, tested grade essential oils. always look for those within your essential oils. That just means they're tested at a higher standard and are, you know, what's in them. And then there is it's unique through doTERRA. Well, I shouldn't say it's unique, but they have this beautiful situation where it's called co-impact sourcing. And what they do is they get a bunch of the essential oils. So there's over 140 origin oils. And what that means is that they can't come from the country where they originally were found. And there's over 45 countries that doTERRA uses within their development. And these most of us, and with the 45 countries, they're all in developing countries. So they're countries that are needing help with their economic and financial stabilities. And how doTERRA uses them is they will have like the farmers and the distributors. They'll all be interconnected throughout the world to be able to provide these essential oils to everybody else. So they're able to give and receive throughout the world to each other to make sure that people are all survive, not just as I always say this, it's not just surviving, but they're thriving. And then, of course, there is the doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation. This is a part of doTERRA, but it's a nonprofit. And what they do is they support the efforts against human trafficking and more things, like making sure that whenever we have natural disasters, they're helping with that either by funds, or there's been some situations where doTERRA has helped with like bringing essential oils to villages and things of that nature, so that they're able to have that healing power with essential oils. And just so that you guys understand, some of the places that are distributors for doTERRA are Brazil, Haiti, Kenya, and Nepal. So it's all over the world that they are used. And the map, just so you guys can see, is where some of the essential oils come from and throughout the world. And so it's beautiful that we're able to use different resources in different countries and promote the world's progression and development.
That is very beautiful. And you know, my first degree, I'm kind of don't have quite as many degrees as you in random topics, but I have my first degree, my undergrad is in agriculture. And what I remember from that is that every species, you know, whether plant or animal, has a center of origin. It has a place in the world that it started from. And I think it's great to get the oils from the place that they're most abundant and they grow most easily. And
Exactly.
it's interesting sometimes to find out where a species actually comes from, because my English grandmother had so many geraniums in her garden. We only ever used to really go there in summer. And I always thought of geranium as, you know, a typical English flower, which I guess it has become. But geranium actually originates from the fynbos of Cape Town, in the Cape province, in Western, in the West, in Cape, in
That's
the Cape. So
awesome.
it's, yeah, it's very interesting. And of course, yeah, eucalyptus is an oil that is very commonly used, especially, you know, issues with the throat.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that is, you know, we find eucalyptus trees everywhere, but they grow only really wild in Australia. So it's so nice to be able to get to these countries of origin. And I'm sure that there's a lot more oils that are going to be described. I was interested by, you know, Anne Ziambo's comments in the group as we were preparing for this talk about a lot of the plants that are used naturally in Zambia that haven't yet had their oils extracted or really known. So I
Right.
think there's still a lot of room for growth. And as I'm looking at the map right now, I can see that there's quite a lot that is coming from South America, um, all of North America, a lot of Europe, but this most of Africa is kind of untapped there, and parts of Asia. So I feel that there's a lot more goodies. There's a lot more gifts of the earth to be discovered and to be brought out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll,
So
we'll
that's,
see what happens.
but I mean, as it is, even without those extra ones, there are so
So
many.
many already.
Yeah. And one thing that I appreciated in what you were talking about is that oils have their own, essential oils have their properties in their pure form, like lavender on its own and peppermint on its own and lemongrass on its own. But when they're mixed, then I guess it's like a kind of, baking. You create something new, like Digest Zen, you said was a combination of, I
Several of the
think
different oils.
several
Yes.
different ones. And then that can have a different purpose or a more powerful effect when it is used like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So my question then, and we'll open it up then for some general questions. And there are a few questions in the chat. So we will start off with the questions that are already in the chat. And what I wanted to find out is you that just to confirm that doTERRA is having the pure oils, but then it's also having some established combination oils. Is that a correct
Yeah, so
understanding?
they have pure oils and then they have proprietary blends that they create to use the oils together to make something that is powerful to the body.
Okay. And the yoga collection that you have on the screen are those blends as well?
Yes. So just so everybody knows, rose is extremely hard to extract. It takes a lot of roses to get one bottle. And so naturally that one within the doTERRA family of essential oils, that one's over $300. But an option is doing the yoga collection, which has, it has rose in it and various other blends so that you can use it for both. You can use it in the air as a diffuser, breathing it in, or topically. And so these ones you don't ingest because like rose, you don't ingest normally. And so these are affordable options for people to be able to use.
Right. So, I mean, so the prices are not the same basically
Exactly.
with the oil. I mean, some could be from $10 to $20 all the way up to rose, which is the most expensive, 300, depending on
Yes.
how much raw material is required to extract the oil. Yeah. Now, let's jump into the questions. And, we didn't see all of the questions as we were going through it, but Emily is asking, you put oil, you put lemon. We saw you put the lemon directly onto your neck, and you said you do that just before you speak. What does it help you with? Does it help you clear your voice?
Yeah,
What's
it
the
helps
reason?
with clearing your voice. And just as a caveat, don't drink apple juice during a meeting while you're talking because that's what's going on right now. I drank some apple juice and I'm choking right now, but it's fine. So lemon actually clears your throat so that you can talk and you don't have issues with talking, because a lot of us nowadays we're on Zoom calls and things of that nature, so we're talking a lot, and so it helps open your throat so that you're able to both receive air in and be able to communicate well and efficiently.
Right. And Ebony says that she puts her essential oils on her lava rock bracelets as opposed to putting it directly on the skin. And she wants to know whether she's losing any of the benefits of the oils by doing that.
I do not know that answer, but I can look into that for you. But I know that we have a lot of scarves that you can put the essential oils in, and it just depends on what you're trying to use it for, what you're trying to target for, and of course, obviously making sure that you can smell it as well.
Right. And Emily has a question, and it's something that I've encountered as well. She says, like for some oils, don't you need to put a carrier? And I've heard that before. You need to put a carrier on them. How do you know, which one needs a carrier, which doesn't need a carrier?
So something I learned outside of doTERRA is, for example, when we take vitamins, you want to have what we were talking about with the carrier is having like a fatty acid. So taking omega-3, 6, and 9 together with the supplements, your vitamins, it absorbs in the body better. So something that I do, like with the lavender, with the female issues during the time of the month, is I use coconut lotion or you can use fractionated coconut oil, and you put just a few drops and it helps absorb faster.
Right. I think especially if it's it's on the skin, if it's going to be absorbed through the skin, the oil is something that will help the body absorb it and maybe also dilute it as well. If it's something that is, concentrated. I know some oils, like with everything, when they're super concentrated, there's a chance that I could react to the concentrated oil, but not react to, a diluted form of the oil. I would imagine. We
Right.
have a question from Marcus, who I think similar to you has sinus problems and has difficulty, breathing clearly through the night and sometimes even before working out. And he's asking if peppermint would help you. Um, yeah, and he's asking in connection with yoga. Yoga always helps, Marcus, whatever the circumstances. This is coming from a yoga teacher. But I know you mentioned this at some point, but maybe you could just go through your combination. I think it was the combination that you take before you sleep, right? Was it
Yes.
peppermint, lavender, and I can't remember whether
Lemon.
it was lemon. There we go.
Yes. In addition, what I did earlier with the peppermint, yes, that will help you. And then there's roller balls with doTERRA. It's called Breathe. You can roll it. Every night I roll it right here, like it's like a face, when you play football, the mat, the little strips, I just put it right there. And throughout the night I can breathe. And you can do that before workouts as well.
Great, great. Now there's another question from Emily. She's asking, I've not heard the name of this one, is copaiba and amber oil. Have you heard of copaiba? I've never heard of
Yes.
copaiba.
So I was showing that earlier. Copaiba it's for a doTERRA's products line.
Copaiba is a certain oil within
Amber oil within doTERRA.
Okay, so is amber a wider class and they're various?
Yeah, amber oil has a bunch of different, yes. It's not just one oil. It's all these different collections of oils.
Okay, all right, yeah. Eesh, it's more in detail than I had imagined. I thought all amber is amber, but there you go. Not even all lavender oil is lavender oil. You have to know if it's coming from the pollen or whether it's coming from the whole plant. Chishimba's got a very interesting question, and it's something that I just found out about. She says, does putting oil in a humidifier dilute their impact?
No, none of this does. It's just there's different ways that you can use it. Some people don't have the resources to get a humidifier, so there's putting it on your hand instead and breathing it how I did earlier. It's just different ways of using it and not overthinking with the essential oils, because for example, just with different therapies, like when you want to just do your brow chakra, just putting a drop on your fingers and just holding it up to your finger really quickly and breathing for a second, and then the smells there all day, in addition to like breathing the essential oil after. So you can do all these different things, and it doesn't change what it's doing for your body.
Great. I will add, Jashimba, that I just bought, we just got some humidifiers here because I thought Lusaka was dry during the dry season, but Colorado, I think, is probably drier too, because you have this new combination of cold and dryness. And I think it really depends on the humidifier that you have, because I remember Ashley saying earlier that oils need to be put in something that is glass, because with plastics, there's certain things that, plastics are essentially made from petroleum products. So certain, combinations, reactions can take place when the essential oils come into contact with plastic. So if you have a humidifier that has plastic in its makeup, I think it's probably not going to be a good idea. And definitely the humidifier that I just got is plastic in its makeup, and they say no humidifiers. And which makes me realize now that a lot of the diffusers, I know the diffusers that I used in Lusaka, they're all ceramic. So I kind of understand now why the
Ooh,
diffusers are ceramic. Yeah.
that's good
Yeah.
to know. I never thought about that because my humidifier is plastic as well.
Well,
I
maybe
know,
maybe
yeah, I
yours can
don't.
handle it. Yeah, maybe yours can handle it. Maybe they have put some layer, and they certify that you can use the oils. I think you have to check with your make. Definitely, when I was reading the manual for the humidifier that I just trying out these last few days, it says do not put any essential oils.
Yeah, so
Um,
you want to get a humidifier and diffusers that are specific to essential oils. So they should have a tray in them. I would have brought it over here. So it has a tray in them and a sponge that you put the essential oils in, and then the essential oils are brought up with the steam and come out.
so it's not just any humidifier. This is a special
No,
humidifier.
yeah, you
Okay.
want humidifiers that are good for with essential oils.
Okay, no, that is
I
something
didn't even
that
think
makes a
about that.
whole lot
That's
of
true.
sense.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes, because then it's probably in a particular place where it's not going to get in touch with the plastic, but it's going to, heat and go out. Right. Yeah, I think essential oils are great for yoga teachers as well. I don't know, Emily, whether you use them in your studio in Bonn, but it creates, I think they invoke different feelings. They can help us calm down. So if we want to have a class, or with children as well, if we want to create a mood, we can use scent. And I know that scent is something that people are using a lot, like for you know it's energy. I know, like for a lot of restaurants and a lot of businesses, they paint their walls a certain color because they want a certain behavior.
Right.
Yeah, they want you to, fast food restaurants are notorious for being red because they want you to be in there and they want you to be out. But a restaurant where they want you to spend your time, maybe they'll have some blues and some purples and you know nice calm atmosphere because they want you to stay longer. And I feel that sense, also I see a trend now with brand images, brand not brand images, but brands having a scent that goes along with their brand.
Yeah.
So not just a color, but also a brand scent.
Exactly. It's beautiful how we are incorporating our ancestors' traits and bringing it into the future with us.
Right. So we have just a couple of questions and then we'll close out. It's
Okay.
time. And Kiki's asking, could you use an oil burner and put some water that you could add some drops to?
So I just know from personal experience with the oil burners, you want to use something that has an oil base. So like olive oil with the essence,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure you're using it appropriately. Look at the instructions on the oil burner, just so that but water, I've tried it before. It just burns up really quickly. And then it
I
can
see.
burn your oil, your ceramic, or however it's created. That we burnt a ceramic tray that the oil was
Wow.
in because of the water. So you want to be careful. Just try and use something with oil, because that's what it is. It's an oil burner.
Right. Okay. That's something new. And yes, Emily does use the oils. She does use doTERRA in her studio and also at home. Ashley, I want to thank you very much for, certainly opening my eyes and expanding my understanding of essential oils. And I just wanted to extend the invitation to everybody to join a complimentary Kuthuta yoga class this Monday. So, we have a membership that, people can opt into monthly, whether monthly or yearly, whether to do the videos or to do the videos and the class. But on Monday, the 1st of February, there's a free session for everyone, and the time is 8:50 a.m. Mountain Standard Time here in Denver, which I think is 17:50 over in Lusaka, Zambia, and or which is GMT +2, but you will see that information in another event on the page. And also Ashley's details. You can find Ashley's details. You can go to her website or you can go to her page. I will also be posting her details in the base of most of the posts on the Facebook page. So if you want to get in touch with her and find out more, you will find her contact details over there. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. And if you'd like to watch this again or share it with someone else who is interested in essential oils, Ashley and I are going to post the recording of this video on our YouTube channel. So you can always come back to it whenever you need to. Thank you very much, Ashley. And thank you, everyone, for your engagement.
Thank you, everyone.